That takes us to round 2, where Casper LeBeau is on pole from Claire de Lune, and Star in 4th place is Ash Cornwell from Spiker and Moises Lima. Antonio Partey, superstar rookie, he starts 7th from Nora and Christian Bentley. The points leaders, Ryan Burton is 10th from Magic and Cars Masterodisis. Shree Harishwar is 13th from Tommy and Million Brules. Then it's Gabriel Labargson, Thomas Holtz, Eichel World, Drago, Juan Villalobos, and the back row of Nick Haymaker and Exferno. Well, after an absolutely chaotic Australian Grand Prix, we head to Europe for the Austrian round. All 5 lights go on, and we are underway in the Austrian feature race. Don't know why I said Grand Prix earlier, but it's a good start from Claire de Lune off the line in that 10 car, already with the lead, as that is Cornwell, also with a great start, going side by side in that Trackhouse number 20 car, going side by side with Claire de Lune as well, and that's the race lead for the man who is the teammate of the points leader. Meanwhile, coming through turn number 3, Star getting a 5-second time penalty, but aside from that, it's a very clean opening lap of this race on this Christmas Eve morning. Cars Masterodisis in the 4 car for Power Motorsport, making his way up into P7. It's great stuff to see him further up the order today, but Claire de Lune's retaken the race lead as well in that Junior Motorsports number 10 car. The pole sitter, Casper LeBeau, in that 5 cars dropped down to P5, as Moises Lima now up into the top 3 as they make their way through turn 11, the final corner, to start lap number 2. Rising up through turn number 1, attack mode is online. That's good news for all the drivers, as we got a caution. That is Shree Harishwar. That Red Bull car, for the 2nd race in a row, out. And a caution comes out as well. Big yikes. Unfortunate for Red Bull Racing, who make their ERL Series return this season after having a 13-season-long absence. They just couldn't get anything done there, and that's unfortunate. We're back under the green flags. On board with Moises Lima in the number 2 Envision Racing car. His teammate, he runs in P18, does Eichel World. So Moises definitely showing up his teammate right now. That's what one extra season of experience in the FG Series does for you. Nora with a track limits warning further back as we begin lap 3. Hopefully we manage to remain green. Here comes Magic with the inside line, trying to get past the Junior Motorsports man. Hits Star there, gets a 5-second time penalty, but aside from that, seemed pretty fine and dandy. There goes Ryan Burton up into 12th, makes the lunge on Ponte. And the man who finished 2nd last time out takes 9th, is now off the track, goes Exferno. Seemingly on his lonesome in that 22 car. Team Impol not having as good as a race as they had last time out. That's really unfortunate for that team. Ash Cornwell chasing down Claire de Lune for the race lead. I see this race coming down to strategy. The early days of racing in Austria in the ERL, we had a lot of carnage, a lot of contact with everyone down at turns 1, 3. But nowadays, it's actually shown up to be one of the faster tracks on the calendar. Almost as if fortunes with racing here and racing in Italy have swapped. Very interesting in that case. Tommy now on the back of Magic. All these guys with attack mode as Labargson comes into the pits with Thomas Holtz. Don't know why Holtz is into the pits. Is that a lunge for Ponte? That is in the number 14. Antonio Ponte up into 7th. He's looking for the pass on Tommy as well. He just got blocked there. Can he make the inside line work as those soft tyres degrade rapidly? I think Ryan Burton's going to be the first of the 2 good hots to come in as they round the final few corners. Casper comes in first. Ooh, that's bad news for Ryan Burton, who will round the final corners in the lead, gets a 5-second time penalty for violating track limits. Million Brules is 5th with Drago, Nick Haymaker, and Ica World behind him. These guys are pushing their tyres to the absolute limits. Claire de Lune is heading down the main straight on the hard compound tyres. That'll take him quite a ways into the race. I think the hard's almost certainly the better tyres to try and do 5 laps on. Much better than the softs and mediums. Here comes Ash Cornwell trying to make the pass on the junior motorsports man. He makes the lunge and he can take the lead. He's got attack mode as well, heading out of turn 3. So that is the easiest pass that I feel like you could have made going down the straight. Made a few corners early as we've got cautions in sector 2. Ponte getting a 5-second time penalty, and we can see the reason why. Moises Lima has gone off the track and he's got front wing damage. Meanwhile, further up the order, 3% Burton cut that one close. The entirety of Goodhart Racing cut it close. 10% for Nick Haymaker, 22% for Million Brulers, 11 for Drago. I don't think there was any other way to cut it close. Off the track for Claire de Lune, almost into the wall, trying to get past Ash Cornwell. My goodness, that was dangerous. It's now side by side through 3. They're going to hop over the curbs. That's the 10 car. And taking the lead prematurely as Levaxin gets a 5-second time penalty for track limits. Caution's down in turn 1. That's Moises Lima again, isn't it? It is. He drops behind his teammate. But Claire de Lune has been dethroned effectively. Cosmas Medicis trying to get past Casper LeBeau, almost into the rear wheel of him. Side by side, they maintain their formation through the final sector. That 4 car going up against the 5, heading down through the final double corners. This is going to get spicy, but it doesn't, as Casper decides to just try and get the slipstream heading down into turn 1. It seems Medicis with the fastest lap. The Goodhart man doesn't make the lunge, but he flies off the track instead. Still has attack mode. And I don't think he's going to be able to get past him quite yet, if ever, on this lap, or heck, even further on in this race. Claire de Lune closing back up to the Trackhouse Racing man in front of him. But we've got yellows in sector 1. That's for Moises Lima again. Pull in the Envision, fix the front wing. He doesn't have the downforce to make it through turn 1. We know that turn 1 is a very downforce sensitive corner. That's why you need a lot of it. Into the pits for Ash Cornwell. Also in Nora. No, that's Spiker who comes in for 23XI. Or 2311 if you prefer. So heading back up the turn 1 hill. You can see on the mini-map, Moises does go quite a ways off the track. Star with a track limits warning of his own, and this is the one thing about the FG Series that makes it very different from the rest of the ERL. We've got speed limiters on these cars. It makes them a lot easier to drive, but because they're easier to drive, you're not seeing drivers push the limits of the cars further than what we would have seen in prior ERL series or categories. And as a result, you don't get a lot of wrecks, which is good. But also the racing gets a little bit more truncated, which is, I believe, a worthy trade-off. Moises Lima comes down into the pits. I think Nora's going to come in as well. Claire de Lune stays out. Cosmas Sudisis comes in. Casper LeBeau comes in. Christian Bentley also into the pits from 5th place. What a flight back through the field. Started 10th and has made up 5 positions as he comes in. And we've got yellows in sector 3. That's not for Moises Lima this time, thankfully. I believe that is for Juan Villalobos. It is not. No, it was for the Envision car. It wasn't Moises Lima, though. It was Ica World who hit the wall. Force of habit, I guess. As here comes Million Brulers with a lunge on Star. Gets the position quite easily. Has to hop over the curb, though. As Burton getting overtaken by Nora. I don't think the Goodhart cars are too good around this track. We've got some dark clouds approaching this track as there's the lunge from Spiker. Taking Burton out of the top 9 once more. As it stands, Burton would still only get 1 point. Cosmas Fidicis holding on to the fastest lap. And as he's outside of the top 10, no points for that. Your race leader, Claire DeLune, comes in, puts on some mediums as Thomas Holtz, 5-second time penalty for track limits. That's on his lonesome. Ash Cornwell does not take the lead. Juan Villalobos in the number 18 Manor Motorsport car, however, he now leads this race with 7 laps to go. He becomes the first Venezuelan driver to lead in the ERL. Here comes Nora in the 17. Trying to make 2 passes at once. That's not as easy as it sounds. Almost collides with Million Brules, but just about manages to get past him. That's now 4th for Manor Motorsports, man. And in that number 17 car, how much further can he go? Well, he's right on the back of Staris. Juan Villalobos is closing up to the back of Ash Cornwell. Here comes the Manor man at 17, but he can't get past quite yet. Almost got swiped if he were to try and make that move. Goes for the inside line coming through the final 2 corners. Will he even need to wait for the braking zone? He won't. That's 3rd for the 17 already. 6 laps to go as into the pits comes the Junior Motorsports driver and Drago for Power Motorsport. Tommy on board, we go with the number 11. He's watching Cosmas Medicis lose some positions with the inside. Coming through 1. Contact made for a lot of drivers, but thankfully no penalties, no damage. That's too serious. Nothing like that. And who's that going for the lunge? Is that Casper LeBeau? No, he's currently holding on to 8th as they come through turn 3. The field really knowing how to keep this one clean. Magic in the number 7 Chip Ganassi car, holding on to the final points paying position. Were they yellows there? I don't think they were. Anyway, Million Brules, the number 12 Revolution Racing car. He's going side by side with Christian Bentley heading into the final 2 corners. If you watch the A1 GP race here in Austria, we've seen a lot of incidents happen down there, but thankfully today there's only been one, and it didn't even lead to too much damage as they now head back up into turn number 1. The 11 of Tommy making the lunge on Cosmas Medicis. Easy pass there on a man he's driven against in Formula E before. Not in IndyCar, but now he's racing against him in the FG Series, so can't really get away from those 2 as Casper making the lunge on Nick Haymaker. Ica World doing the same, but getting a time penalty for hitting the Chip Ganassi driver. Ryan Burton with a 5-second time penalty for track limits further back for the man who's in the hunt for the World Drivers' Championship this season. But Nora running second, not really with the pace to close up. Christian Bentley with a 5-second time penalty for track limits, and he's got a front puncher! He does! No way! He's just come out of the pits! And that's the man who won last time out in Australia. The points leader for Trackhouse Racing has got a front left puncture in Austria. He's going to drop quite a ways down the order as Experto comes up and passes him. Thankfully, no contact made. The next man who could see him is race leader Claire DeLune. Bentley's going to go a lap down and out of race-winning contention. This is wild. I think Claire's got the points lead wrapped up after this, I'm sure. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes here. Bentley rounding the final 2 corners, and thankfully Claire not able to catch up and hit him. In comes the number 19 from 20th place. He'll serve the 5-second time penalty as well. That's his 4th stop of this race with 3 laps to go. Tommy now in second. He'll come in. Around the outside goes Cosmas Medicis, taking that position on the podium. That gives Ryan a little bit of breathing room if he wants to try and take the lead in points today, but still going to take quite a bit to get the position he needs. Remember, he came into this race 6 points down, comes out right behind his title rival as the floodlights are on here in Austria. Low visibility due to cloud cover. Magic moving up into 9th, but having to go over the curbs and off the track. Ica World further back with a 3rd track limits warning of this race. Off the track for Spiker as well, who sets the fastest first sector anybody in the process. my guess is it was worth it. Ash Cornwell in the number 20. He's got the fastest car of anyone right underneath him. The car that won last time out. He's going to try and make the lunge on Cosmas Vinicius. He's going to try and throw it around the outside, and he'll make the pass to second as Cosmas dives down into pit lane. Lap 15 of 17 begins as Claire de Lune also into the pits. Ash Cornwell leads in Austria. Star in that number 9 Junior Motorsports car, doing a very good job of holding on to that position. Drago looking for a way to try and get past and back up into the top 4 for the man who was in contention for the title, as off the track further back, that's Claire de Lune, and Christian Bentley's involved again. That's a car that's now a lap down, getting involved in an incident with a man who could have won this race. Unbelievable. Ryan Burton re-emerged from the pits in 18th after his time penalty was served. So for the top 2 last time out, looks like the easiest no points scored of either driver's career. Nora has begun the final lap of this race as Gabriella Bargson being held up by Moises Lima, who's also a lap down. Can Ash Cornwell close up to Nora in time to try and win this race? Well, he's got attack mode heading down into turn 4. And he's in between a Manor Racing sandwich as another yellow flag comes out. Claire de Lune again. He's got damage. Oh no! Tommy and Claire both out of this race. Bentley and Lima both come in for intermediate tyres. So that is Envision and Trackhouse believing it's going to rain, and it is raining on the penultimate lap. It's happened again. Just as it did in Australia, we go green after a caution has been called, and it's raining. And I don't think the pack is going to go on to the intermediate weather tyres. We're on to the final lap. They cross the start-finish line. There's no going back for these men. There's no attack mode as well. Villalobos, in his debut season, is going to get a podium in round 2 as Moises Lima gets a time penalty for track limits. This is strictly unbelievable. As a rear puncture for Drago. Full car puncture, in fact. What is happening? Nora at 18%. He's going to make it to the end of this race quite handily. What is... I have no words for this race finish, as I did last time out. And Cornwell, had it stayed dry, he would have likely had a chance, a shot at the win. But that's not going to happen today. Nora for Manor Motorsport. In these wet weather conditions, might as well be full wet. Rounds the final corner. And he will be your second race winner in the FG Series. Star with a full car puncture as well, drops behind Magic. This is strictly madness. That's all you get in the ERL. You only get carnage, you only get shocking behaviors with all the drivers. The only question is, what about Ryan Burton? Can he somehow squeak out points today? I don't think he can. Cosmas Medicis on the back of Casper LeBeau. All the drivers just not choosing to make moves as they form a little bit of a conga line. Drago holding on to the last point spot. I think Nick Haymaker from 21st on the grid is going to get points today. Nice job. Here is your podium. Nora for Manor Motorsport from absolutely nowhere manages to take victory from Ash Cornwell and Juan Villalobos. Juan Villalobos, the first Venezuelan driver to get a podium in the ERL. As for the rest of your finishers, Magic was 4th from Star, Spiker, Casper LeBeau, Cosmas Medicis, Ika World, and Nick Haymaker. Outside of the top 10, Million Brulez was 11th from Gabriella Bagson. Antonio Ponte, Ryan Burton, Drago, Thomas Holtz, Exferno, Christian Bentley, and Moises Lima, with the non-finishers being Tommy Clairdelune and Sri Harishwar. Christian Bentley and Nora are tied at the top of the standings. Then it's Burton 1 point up on Ash Cornwell. Star is 5th from Juan Villalobos, who's tied on points with Antonio Ponte. Then it's Cosmas Vidicis, a three-way tie for 9th between Thomas Holtz, Spiker, and Magic. Exferno is 12th from Casper LeBeau and Moises Lima. Casper only 13th for the reigning champion. And it's still early days in this championship. Then it's Moises Lima, as I've already mentioned. Gabriella Bagton is 1 point down on Ica World, with Nick Haymaker the last man to score points. In 17th with Sri Harishwar, Million Brules, teammate Tommy, Clairdelune, and Drago yet to score. So in the Teams Championship heading into round 3. Trackhouse Racing lead the way, they're 3 points up on Manor Motorsport, and 2311 Racing is 3rd on 27 points. 25 points has Good Heart Racing, then it's Team Impul, Junior Motorsports, Power Motorsport, Chip Ganassi Racing, Envision Racing, Red Bull Racing, and Revolution Racing. Well, what's your soup of the day, my good sir? Oh, chaos? That must mean that you've ordered some ERL Racing. Thanks for watching here on Sparkplug Motorsport. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, vote for your favourite Champ Car and Formula E drivers to see who can get the fan boost. That will be in the description. And with all that out of the way, we'll see you guys next time then, when the ERL returns.